Yeah. So we're going to discuss preventive maintenance. Also, along with this, we'll try to understand how to understand these kind of modules in SQL. I mean, your ability does not probably lie in you have crammed this by heart. You need to go over this guide and these kind of guides, these kind of modules, and understand what those could mean. And that's your ability. So typically, when you go to a project, they won't expect you to know all these things by heart, but you should be able to read all these things and understand. So we'll try to develop an approach to understand these things. Okay. So just question, what is preventive maintenance? Very first thing is just dig into your knowledge and see what it means to you. You will, in this case, we all understand preventive maintenance just by reading, and then you read just relevant chapters, just to understand what it is. Like, okay, like what is the business idea behind it? Very simple business idea is not written somewhere here. It should be here. Give me 1 second. We have to look for the place where you can find a very basic idea about the business scenarios for anything that we are talking about here. So in this case, preventive maintenance, right? So we need to look for where basic business scenarios are written. So this is the first. Okay, I'm at the same place again. Okay. Just going through it, we all went through it a little bit. If you also go through it a little bit, you'll understand a very important thing. The business scenario is that if you have sold something, if the company has sold something to the customers, we call these as assets. So on these assets, like company needs to give preventive maintenance. This is what we are talking about here. Like we need to, like for example, cars. When a company sells cars, after 30,000 miles, after 20,000 miles, after 10,000 miles, or whatever they have to service them. Similarly, then they have to service them if like it's been 3,000 miles or it's been 3 months for the oil change. There are things like this. So I think oil change is not the responsibility of the company. We know it from our general knowledge, but then that 15,000 mile thing and 30,000 mile thing is a free service that a companies give. They are important for the customers because the assets keep running smoothly for a long time. Similarly, that's important for the company because it reduces their maintenance cost down the line. This concept is applicable on probably everything. If you buy a house, if you're a construction company, then houses that you sell also need to have some kind of preventive maintenance. Like after 3 months you need to have inspection and fix the things. After 6 months, after 11 months, 29 days, they come and they do the entire inspection and they fix the nails. They whatever we call it nail popping. So wherever nail pops, so there are many things that need to be done, and we'll dig into our knowledge, and so this is, we already did that, and we understand the business wise, we understand what it is, right? Okay, we'll go through various business scenarios, and if there are some business scenarios, we'll try to relate it to our common sense also. Now in this case, we were able to reach this conclusion quite fast. What is preventive maintenance? Let's say in certain cases you don't understand, I would request you to do googling at that point. Maybe go through the entire thing, just browse over it, don't read it thoroughly, just to understand what is the business scenario behind it. So first thing is understanding the business, like what is the business idea, like what does it mean, what does it relate to, which business area does it relate to, right? It has to relate to something which is related to customer relationship management business, right? CRM aspects of the business, right? It has to appeal to you there. That's very important. So this is the first thing. Okay, now that's, you're right, an asset needs to be provided, service upon, and that's what preventive maintenance is all about. Okay, so business wise we understand now. So let's read it a little further and understand what it is. Okay, it is saying that preventive maintenance engine can automatically generate preventive maintenance service requests and actions triggered by elapsed time, asset usage, measurement thresholds, or events. Okay, what is this? Can you interpret this line for me? So basically, next step is go through this. Once you understand the business context, I was trying to remember this word, business context. Where in the whole business scenario this falls. Where in the whole business enterprise, where does this fall? It basically falls in a, we understand now preventive maintenance, what it is, and that is what it is. But then we need to understand now the subtle meaning. We cannot stop here because we need to master this module. Okay. So let's try to understand, so basically the next step usually is, you go through each and everything and try to understand. Okay, here again, the first is a quick glance. Second one is little bit faster glance, but without doing anything. Like you don't do anything in the sense that at certain places it will ask you to go some places. Don't do that. Okay. This particular glance will take about half an hour. First one would take about 5 minutes. This one should take about half an hour. In this one, you try to understand this one. For example, time-based triggers call for maintenance actions at regular time intervals. What it could mean? Just think about it. Again, from a business perspective, put this little line into the details of preventive maintenance and try to see. Now you will learn a lot about preventive maintenance also, but you will already know something also. Look at this. It's saying time-based triggers call for maintenance actions at regular time intervals. For example, regular time intervals. For example, after every 3 months, oil change has to be done. It is says that time-based triggers, like after every 3 months, this something will trigger, which will call for maintenance actions. Okay, there is a way. If a company is like that they need to service their assets every 3 months, then this time-based triggers. What is time-based trigger? What is it looks like? Whether it is a pop-up message, what does it do? These are all functional details. We still do not know. We are not diving into that, but we are trying to understand the business context of the details. Okay, so this is what you do. You understand the business context of the detailed lines. You may not be able to understand everything. You will need sometimes functional details to understand, but we'll just make a quick glance of the entire 20-page this preventive maintenance module and try to understand what it means. Okay, usage-based triggers are for equipment that can keep track of usage with a counter. For example, number of copies for photocopier. Yeah, I think same thing applies on the cars also, right? How does it apply to the cars? Threshold-based triggers initiate a service activity when a measurement falls above or below a set level, similar to an alarm or engine warning light. Yes, it's very clearly understandable. There are certain things, let's say the car, like certain cars would need a preventive maintenance. Can you give me a business scenario in cars where you might have gotten the preventive maintenance from the car company? You means customer. We are talking about threshold-based triggers. Can you tell me? Can you tell me, like, from your day-to-day life that, oh, this has happened with me? Like, like in case of counter, we were able to find a day-to-day thing. Like cars have this counter of miles, right? Similarly, time-based, we could figure out, like every 3 months, we need to service the car. So similarly, there should be something related to this in the cars business as well. In case of time-based trigger, I'll give you the complete scenario. See, in case of time-based triggers calls for maintenance at regular time intervals. Like after 3 months, company will send you this thing. Hey, you know what? You need to bring your car for service, and you take the car there, and then they service it for you, right? So, can you give me a little bit more elaborate description of the scenario for threshold-based triggers? Said that, like say engine heats up, there will be a light, and that will create a threshold-based trigger, right? So I like this point. So, and then the customer will call the company, and the company will say, okay, bring the car and we'll service it for you, right? I can clearly see this kind of verbiage in the houses. When you lease a house, when you lease an apartment, they have this thing, clear verbiage in the contracts. If this thing breaks, you can call us and we'll do it for you. Similarly for the rental cars, if this thing happens in the rental car, we'll do it for you. In the cars also it might be there, I don't recall it. But then I just caught one small thing. You said that threshold-based trigger will basically tell the company that they need to service it, right? So this is very important. This is good. You're saying that asset will have a triggering mechanism, right, which will trigger the company, right? You think it's possible in the case of cars?
Yeah,
you think?
I mean, if you're in an accident and you place on a GPS, it will immediately call the company back in.
Really?
Yeah, like
No, so it's a newer thing. I don't know. I don't have the exposure to GPS.
That is called OnStar basically. That comes in your car. You have to pay for the
I
service.
mean, if you're in the middle of some village or something, and
You can press
just
it. So that's emergency road service, right?
Yeah, kind
But
Yeah.
can they? Is that GPS tied?
Yeah,
to the-
GPS inside your car, and you just have to, like in BMW, I just saw it. You just have to press this button. The way you.
yeah, that is like OnStar.
But it will just alert them. It won't tell them what exactly the problem is.
That would be an
It is related to engine also.
Engine
It is listening to all those events.
Yeah, if you're lost to, like, you can just press that button and call them. I
Okay.
am lost.
Yeah.
They will
No. You're talking about again different thing. I'm talking about something more detailed. Like engine hitting is giving you an indication, yellow sign. We understand that. But can that engine hitting sign just
No.
trigger the OnStar service
For
without me doing anything?
for higher model cars, like in Mercedes, they display on your like where the
So is there an integration between that OnStar service and the engine heating mechanism without me doing anything? It just triggers. Is it possible?
yeah, in between it is.
Okay.
I am not aware.
Okay. But you understand? But you understood
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
was saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
That's
as good
that.
as a GPS.
That's what I want to
I mean, if
say.
you're-
So so that is good. So we're trying to talk about a closed loop system. The source of the information is directly tied to the source of the action. Source of the action is company, source of my car. Right? Typically, it requires human intervention. Right? So there are different flows available. Right? So in this case, in one, I'm exposed to the wherever human intervention is like he's exposed to somewhere where partial human intervention is required, and you are exposed to where no human intervention is required. All these scenarios, one or the other of is the one which will be used in your company. So assets, in certain cases, when the assets are like high profile assets, like for example medical equipments, they have this ability to trigger the company right there. Let's say there's something goes awry, before like they have this thing, even the they have like in engines there is ability, like in car engines there is an ability, they run the codes and its engine will tell you that it is having some problems. Similarly, in this medical equipment, there is a mechanism that it tells a central thing within the engine, within the equipment itself, that I'm having some problem. That thing notices the problem, sends a trigger to the company directly. So okay, so that's a good point. But assets can trigger that too. But is it what we're talking about here? We'll just understand it very soon. But that's a good point. It has caught our imagination. That's what I wanted to say. Just the way we are relating the ideas that we are hearing here to our business understanding, this to and fro communication between us and this bookshelf is very important. In this pages are very important. Like threshold what triggers. We are thinking, okay, like when certain threshold is reached, the system, the asset itself will trigger. Then we are also thinking that maybe the customer will trigger. It is quite possible that customer also will not trigger anything. He will simply call the sales rep and then he will trigger. Okay, this is also possible. So it's a very bogus and basic and useless privilege system. But then that is maybe what he might be talking about here. Okay, we'll soon understand all these flavors of what is the exact flavor of what he's talking about. Then we are able to relate it to our business knowledge. When he talks about something, we'll be able to catch it quite fast because now we are attuned to it, right? So this is second thing. You need to get attuned to each and every thing that you study. And I don't want you to do it for all the modules of the entire bookshelf. Just do it with the one which is related to your project. Event-based triggers use predefined events to determine if a PM activity is required. Event-based triggers use predefined events to determine if a PM activity is required. Don't you think threshold-based triggers and usage-based triggers are like event-based? There are, from an analytical, my analytical knowledge, I know that there are usually two types of triggers: time-based and event-based. And I could clearly see usage and threshold are basically types of events, right? So what is this fourth thing? So that's an open question in my mind now. So with this open question, I move forward. When a PM activity is required, you use field service to create service requests and detailed activities. When a PM activity is required, what is a PM activity? At this point, it is an open question, but then I just know that it is preventive maintenance activity, and it says here that preventive maintenance engine can automatically generate preventive maintenance service requests and actions or activities. So it says that the engine within Siebel. This engine is within the asset or where? Actually, this engine is within Siebel, of course. This engine within Siebel, it can generate preventive maintenance service requests and actions. So we know that in Siebel there is an asset record. So it can look at certain attributes of the asset, that for example, when was the car sold? So what's the creation date of the asset, and it can create a service request after 3 months, and it will just get into the bucket of the technician, and he will know, okay, I have to service this car today, right? That same thing could generate an outgoing postal mail system that, hey, send a postal mail to this customer, hey, you need to bring your car in. Or it could also generate a message to an outgoing phone call system. So that phone call will call the customer saying, your car is due for service, please bring it in the showroom today. Have you ever gotten such a message? Can anybody remind me any such message? Many messages or many automatic phone calls are coming to my mind. Can anybody remind me all those phone calls? Yeah, it could also that event could trigger something outgoing SMS message system. Also, making sense? There could be a system, separate system from Siebel. This thing will go there. Okay, send them a text message. So that's the right thing. Phone call we talked, postal mail we talked, text message. How many people have got the text message related to their assets which are with the company? From which company? Yes, you get a lot of phone bill message, text message. That's all. These are all. You see, are you able to getting a deeper this thing into preventive maintenance? Something is preventive maintenance, something is not out of these things. You know, slowly and slowly we'll be able to. But then at there is a commonality between all these ideas, right? They probably fit the same frame, and that's what you will see. You know, Siebel has done a good job of using the same thing for preventive maintenance, same thing for something else. Yeah, their components are reusable. And that's what we call it, right? There is a thing called as best fit analysis. When you go to AT&T, they'll say, okay, we have these customers, you know, who don't pay bills on time. We want to send them SMS messages. So you'll think, hey, you know what? We have this preventive maintenance thing. It is actually for something related to preventive maintenance. Yours is not preventive maintenance. Yours is like a, you know, you need to, you know, it's something else. But look, let me see this analysis whether this particular thing will fit your needs. So you do this thing analysis all the time. So you say, okay, you know what, you can use this event-based trigger. Why don't you use PM Engine and use this event-based trigger? Making sense? This is a usual thing that you do. We are able to relate all this. This is very important. We need to relate all these things to what we already know. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand. I can remember other things also. Like when my Blockbuster, this thing get delayed, like when I don't rent them, then I get an automatic message. For air tickets, I get the automatic message that tomorrow you have a flight. That's an asset you already purchased, right? And they have this thing on you. They send you these messages. You get so many automatic messages. Many of these things could be part of preventive maintenance. We need to see what is preventive maintenance from a business perspective. But then again, you know, anything, all these things, I'm 100% sure whatever we are noticing, an action that a company takes on your existing assets, I personally see that all these things pretty much follow the same frame, you know. And if PM Engine is not about them, some of these things, for example, Blockbuster thing, I'm myself thinking whether it is about PM Engine or not, but then I'm again saying that most probably by little customization it will fit the frame of sending rental issue messages. You know, that you rented a video and you are not returning it. It's been so many days. Where are you? Are you right? Right. So there's so many other ideas, like you get bill SMS messages for bill when you don't pay the bill, or when you have a bill payment due, they do send you the SMS messages. But you get the SMS messages from AT&T saying that, you know what, you need to, you know, we have this new product launch. Would you like to buy this also? That's not preventive maintenance for sure. That is also triggered of the assets. They are sending it to only those people who have bought their service, right? But then that is different. That's a marketing idea. So I am completely shrugging it. Right? I'm definitely just sticking to the service related ideas, where a service is, you know, after post sales something is going on. So those are some of the ideas, right? Anything else that you guys can think of? Yeah, whenever insurance is due for renewal, that's a due. That's asset renewal, very important functionality in any CRM system, and that's in Siebel too. PM Engine could fit that frame. I know, from my common knowledge, from my general knowledge, I know that that's a different frame, that's a different area altogether. Asset renewal versus preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is only about, you know, oiling and making sure that asset keeps running smoothly. But then this thing, although insurance company calling you saying your insurance is due for renewal, although it's not like oiling of the insurance and all that stuff, not, you know, but then it is still related to, you know, jacking up the performance of what you already bought, right? You don't want it to become fused. Right. So probably it is, from just business idea, I'm thinking it is related. And when I look at the functionalities, I'm clearly seeing there are similar things involved. Making sense? Now, from a Siebel functionality perspective, you know, what is your idea? If you were to implement this requirement that when an air ticket has been bought by someone, what will you do? Do you need a preventive maintenance engine, or what? Do you know how this requirement will be implemented in Siebel using in terms of Siebel functionality? Okay, so this is the starting point of every discussion. Now we are getting into a little bit of functional detail also. Although I should go over this entire bookshelf, this entire 20-page thing, but this common knowledge is a part of your thing. In general, these kind of things, like assets are there. We trigger this using something called as maybe workflow. In the evening, a batch job will run and look at all the rentals which are due, then create a number of messages. Like, it simply needs to send, this is the name of the movie, this is the name of the person, this is the number, telephone number. CRM system will have the number, right? This is the number, this is the name of the movie, it is due on this date, it was due on this date, right? Due date for some people could be yesterday, some people could be day before yesterday, for some people it could be 1 month back. So it will generate this message, it will generate this record, make 20,000 such records, send it to the outgoing calling system, phone callings, whatever, automatic outbound phone calling system, and it will call those people one by one and say, hello Mr. John Smith, right? It will read from that file, right? This is how it will work, right? So what is PM Engine? I'm thinking as a Siebel guy, when simple workflow process can do this work, then what does PM Engine do? That's a very important question that I'm starting this whole study with. Because let's say air tickets, someone has bought the air tickets, and you know that it has to be done 24 hours in advance. That within next 24 hours you have a flight. You cannot do it in the night. At 12 o'clock everybody is getting the system, outbound calling system is getting us this thing that, okay, you need to call everybody tomorrow morning that these guys have a flight. Some people's flight will be after 1 hour, some people's flight will be after 48 hours. They all cannot be treated the same way. So these kind of system means batch has to go fast. But then again, it's just a batch. So it can be done using a workflow process. Why do we need an engine? Making sense? Making sense? So we'll try to get into that inside functional components. Like Siebel has certain components, right? Like we can always write a workflow process. So that's a component of Siebel. So why do we need a special engine? Why can't we just implement using workflow? Or is it a out of the box workflow that Siebel has provided? Is PM Engine just a workflow? I'm starting this study with these questions. Making sense? I have to understand the exact business meaning of everything that I study, and I'm trying to relate it to my functionality, Siebel functionality knowledge as well, Siebel functional components also, and I'm trying to think whether it's an applet. No, it's definitely not an applet, it's something else. Is it a script, just a validation script? No, because it generates something, it generates a record. It is not a validation script. There is not an error message on the screen of the customer. It has to generate a message to some other system, so it has to be not an applet functionality. Making sense? Anyway, so it is says that it creates service requests and actions. So on the basis of certain criteria, it will generate service requests and actions. And I'm thinking that can easily be done using workflow or a business service. So why don't we simply use that? So I'm just thinking, is it just a business service which is provided by Siebel out of the box?
It can be.
It could be. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah,
It's just a chunk of code which is provided by Siebel out of the box. But then we'll study the exact behavior. And what happens is, if Siebel provides something, I know from my general knowledge, if Siebel provides some workflow or some business service out of the box, it will be fine-tuned from performance standpoint. It will be giving a very good performance. Making sense? And okay. All right. So event-based triggers. Okay. So I'm again back to the business this thing. So all this, what is a special event-based trigger? For me, usage and transport are also event-based. So I'm leaving this question here. I'm gonna go to next one.
like in
Yeah. So good observation. These triggers are usually not mutually exclusive. They are interrelated. For example, car has to be serviced. So we can probably write a code, simple code behind the scenes. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of code or a basic functional component that whatever happens first, right? And then whatever happens first, and you do the service, then both the triggers should get reset, not only one. The 3000 counter should start, as well as the month counter should start. First day, second day should start. So that's how. Okay. So this is what we will learn. Is it really taking care of all those scenarios? Can we create this scenario easily in Siebel using PM Engine, and how much customization will be required, and so on and so forth. This will be our work. So let's go over it as we are progressing. Look at this. When a PM, ek line is important. Each and every line is important. This is very important thing. When a PM activity is required, use field service to create service requests and detailed activities. Okay. I'm not able to understand the cause and effect, but then you know what? Where are my issues? Functionally, I'm not able to understand who creates this PM plan, who does this PM activity, whether the asset does it, whether the customer does it, whether the rep does it, who does it, what is the exact flow here? That exact flow, we call it functional flow. I'm not able to understand the functional flow. Customer का asset टूट गया, it broke. What happens then? He does it or rep does it? He calls. What is the exact flow? This is called a functional flow, and we don't, or maybe business process flow. There is no. I don't want to get into jargon. Just from a business process perspective, I'm not able to understand who does what. So we have to get into that. But remember, it has to appeal to our common sense also. So we have already awakened a lot of our common sense. We understand the context here quite well now, right? We have got a lot of business scenarios. So we are pretty much, so let's look at each and every line. So I'm not able to understand the business process, exact who does what. Run the PM engine for an asset or an agreement. Select the PM plan for the asset or for the entitlements assets. Right? For each trigger, if conditions require an action, create service request actors, and then it is, this particular area, it is trying to explain, how it is used and who does what kind of thing. But I'm not able to understand, quite frankly. Let's go to the next one. Run PM engine for an asset or an agreement. Select the PM plan for the asset or the entitlements assets. Run PM engine for an asset or who? Still a question, who does it? For each trigger, determine if conditions require an action. Okay, we understand that. Does it need to have a service request? Okay, let's see whether it does. If it does create service request, that I understand. Run PM engine for an asset or an agreement. No, then run PM engine again. Select PM plan, blah blah blah. What is this flow? It is
doing it 3 times.
Yeah. Other thing is, at some point of time, when we go down a little bit more, we need to start thinking in terms of ERD, entity relationship diagram. We need to start thinking in terms of what all entities are involved, what is the relationship between them. For example, account and contact is an entity, right? These are two entities. Relationship between them, out of the box, in Siebel e-pharma licenses that you guys study mostly, 6.3 is 6.3 licenses. They are many to many. So we need to start understanding each and every entity that is involved. Like in accounts, it's accounts, contracts, addresses. These are the 3 main entities. Synonyms, sales team members. Remember, all these are various entities. So we need to start understanding all the entities that we talk about. 20 maintenance triggers. So there is another engine which is related to it. There are 5 types of triggers for preventive maintenance plans: time interval, date, usage, threshold, and event. Topics include logic governing triggers, time interval triggers, date triggers, usage triggers, threshold triggers. Okay. The following rules regulate the operation of preventive maintenance engine. Time interval date triggers are the only trigger type that can fire for a date in the future. All of the triggers can fire only for the current date. Just see, is there a business meaning to it? Does it relate to our understanding of the business? Just think. Time interval and date triggers are the only triggers that can fire for a date in the future. Yeah. That means you can create a service request for something in the this thing. Other things don't allow. Let's say if the engine light goes up, it cannot be used to create a thing. Okay, after 3 days, just create I don't know. It's a service request for something instant, like for the current date will get created. That's what we're trying to say. I don't know why this rule is been there.
It could be like,
Trigger can be time based. I can clearly see that we can even create the service request just as the car is sold. We can create the service request. One after 3 months, one after 6, one after 9, one after 12, whatever. I'm thinking it may not be a great idea, but then future on the basis of time makes a little bit of idea at least. But on the basis of event also it makes an idea, right? It makes a lot of sense, right? I don't know, if the engine light goes up in the car, what will happen? Can't we create a future service request?
we never
No.
know when it will go up. But in case of time, it will.
Yeah, but no, this has get created. Immediately nobody can attend to it, right? So it can be future, right? I don't know. It's making sense?
Yeah, it has to be future. But in case of a crash, it is immediate, right?
Yeah.
In case of a crash.
In case of crash only, it's kind of an immediate thing.
Yeah.
and that too only for the State Farm. In case of the person who sold the car, it's no trigger. Don't do anything. Just be prepared to give him a new car, right? So this is my point. So no trigger can fire more than once a day. Okay. This is really just related to business also. If you want to have two triggers, just make two triggers. This is for coding purposes. We know that this is usual thing. You cannot just have the same thing get triggered again and again. Then it will be difficult to control that functionality. Otherwise there will be only one service coming and system will automatically create 5 service requests without it will get triggered. System will create unnecessary service requests also by mistake. There's a possibility if we just allow these things. Making sense?
Instead of this,
Basically, I think this is a preventive maintenance thing. Yeah, if there is something that happens like 3 times in a day, right? You cannot probably use preventive maintenance there, because in let's say car rental, so car rental is by day, right?
like
And
if-
everything is by day. But are there any things which you charge hourly?
like in
Well, actually, in case of car rental, if you return late, then they charge you hourly, right?
but if a machine is running,
Yeah. Oh, medical equipment. Yeah, that
Medical
could be
equipment,
having
or
every
it can
2
be-
month, every 2 hour. It can be. Yeah. So probably that's.
or
Let's see what it means actually.
if it's like manufacturing company, they have big machines, they get heated up.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So events could be could happen again and again within the 24-hour period. So what is it talking about here? Is this the business context here? So we'll understand that. No trigger can fire while there is an outstanding future PM activity for the asset and its associated PM plan. Yeah. Yeah. Do you understand this thing firing a trigger? Do you understand this verbiage? It's common verbiage in our.
Alright.
I'm sorry. In anything actually, in all programming, Oracle, database, everything. It's a common verbiage. It's a very general software verbiage. Fire something. It will fire an event. It will fire. Yeah. So important thing is, all these rules basically they are all about making sure that valid service request should get generated and invalid should not get generated. So all these things are there. If you're changing any of these logics, I think then you have to make sure that you don't end up creating an engine which generates invalid requests or which does not generate valid requests.
Basically, this is the engine functionality.
This is the engine's some of the constraints with which engine is designed, so that out of the box is like this. That's what he's trying to say. I think it should be changeable. I mean, I don't think it cannot be changed. So, like his point, there could be certain things which happen every hour. Like a manufacturing thing could heat up every 2-3 hours. Why not? For example, a plan with time and usage triggers might run with an end date 1 few year in the future. All the PM actions for the next year are created based on the time trigger, and during that time the usage table will never fire. Whatever the actual usage, you can avoid this conflict by only scheduling PM actions for a few weeks or 1 month in advance.
The note says that no one expect on multiple triggers.
That means there can be multiple triggers, right? But maybe not valid. They cannot all fire everything in one day. No, same trigger cannot fire. But if there are multiple triggers, I don't know. What does it mean, multiple triggers? Okay, let's run through it a little bit. Otherwise, I'm totally lost. An asset template is associated to a PM plan, and so asset template, it is a entity. It is an entity. PM plan, it is an entity too. And one of the triggers for the plan fires, it generates service requests and PM actions with date fields automatically filled with values as listed in. Okay. Field values from PM triggers. Asset service requests, opened, committed, created, scheduled. Let's just go there and see. Asset service request, right? Where is it? Open in this thing. This is what he's talking about. So it is a service request, this thing. Okay. Assets preventive maintenance history, created date and time. Okay, so you can see the history also. There is a, let's see this history tab. Assets preventive maintenance history. That's where we are now, right? It is saying that here you can see, you know, what happened. Okay. Time interval triggers. A time interval trigger activates a PM plan after a fixed time interval measured in trigger activates a PM plan. See, the language is changing quite fast. Previously it was that it will do this thing. Now it is activating a PM plan. What is a PM plan? Making sense? Just a gray area has come into. Just making a list of entities that I heard so far, and also biz scenarios, you know, that we've talked about so far. Air tickets, right? Car, getting service after miles, after period, and when the engine light is up. Okay, I'm just, you know, just writing everything that we gathered so far. One things is, you know, from a business perspective, we have pretty good hold on the things. We have utilized all of our knowledge quite till this point. This is what I knew and I have utilized it. I'm trying to get into the functional details. So how Siebel has implemented this thing. What is PM plan? This will trigger that. So, you know, like we're saying, this will trigger that. Will it really just create a service request directly, or it will create a number of service requests that are part of something? Is there an umbrella entity involved? You see my point? You know what is an umbrella entity? So umbrella entity involved, that these are the 25 service requests, these are the 10 activities which will get created together if this thing happens, right? There is a possibility. Probably that is what PM plan is, but then we'll get into that. Functional thing, we'll get into the actual screens and views and try to see, and that's what I'm doing also a little bit. Making sense? Yeah. Install date. Assets view. In assets view, there is an install date. Okay. Just to let you know, if you, while browsing this thing, this will be very handy. You need to go back to the same place where you were before, so that you can complete your scan. You're scanning this bookshelf, right? This particular module. So Alt left arrow. If you press, you'll go back to that place. Alt right arrow will take you back to, take you forward. In some of the Adobes, there is a button here which is shown here also. I'll show you that button here. Okay, previous view and next view. Alt left arrow. This is where I got it from. Okay, so Alt and left arrow works everywhere. Even if the ideally this should be here. I don't know how to drag and drop and put it here. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna just go back. All right. Date triggers. Date triggers fire on a specific date, like time interval triggers. They may have a valid start and end date that are measured from the asset's install date. Okay, it is just saying asset install date is important. The out of the box, we already understand that is not exposed in the user. Okay, date triggers are not exposed in the user. Okay, usage triggers. Usage triggers activate a PM plan when the reading from an asset changes by a specified amount. Each usage trigger record has start and stop values so that the activation of a PM plan can change with the usage of the asset. You understand this thing? Yeah, so basically trigger has to, like, that event has to be within the start and end date. Okay. Threshold trigger. A threshold trigger activates a PM plan when a reading from an asset exceeds a set value. Threshold triggers can fire in response to a change in a binary value. For example, a threshold of 0.5 would trigger a PM plan when an on-off alarm changes state. Yeah, we need to basically set these up to understand now. We understand the business meaning now. Now we need to get to very quickly to the functional details, how it is set up, and do all these things. So let's keep going quite fast. Measurements and readings. Products measurement. This is also an entity, product measurements. I am clearly seeing that. Okay. Event triggers. Oh, event trigger is the number of service requests increases, right? So kind of analyzing the results. Okay. PM plans and actions. Yeah, it says it's sets of activities. So PM plan is more like an activity plan. Yeah, it is saying create the sets. Setting up, while setting up a PM plan, you have to basically use an SR template, and then you have to use the activity template, and then you basically create. Okay. Then you create triggers and products also. Yeah, because so PM plan is the umbrella entity for everything, right? Like what will cause it, and what all will result. Like what all will get created, right? Okay. Yeah. See, triggers are also a part of the PM plan. That's right. Okay. Service request templates. A service request template is used to create service requests whenever a preventive maintenance trigger is activating. Okay. Preventive maintenance engine. This section describes the preventive maintenance engine. Topics include validating PM plans for an asset on page 385. Okay, running the preventive system preferences, blah. The products view on the preventive maintenance engine screen allows you to associate products. The products are obtained by querying the database for all the products. The engine checks the product of the asset with the collection parts. Okay. Yeah, how it is working, And PM plans are always associated with products and not with product lines. What's the difference product and product line? Right. Running the preventive maintenance engine using server requests. Oh man, this is getting a little technical. You're reading it? You're reading this only? To invoke the PM engine from the asset screen. So basically user can also do it, right? Asset screen preventive maintenance view. This is the view he's talking about, and he's saying that run this thing. Right, so basically user can also, so the sales rep can also invoke this thing. So one thing is sure, it's not customer who's doing it, at least in this example. To invoke the PM engine from the agreements screen. Okay, agreement screen also has this thing. Come.
Yeah, this one.
This also has this. So it is basically, this run PM is basically done by the user, right? Okay. System preferences for the preventive maintenance engine. Yeah. So what organization that the service request should be associated to? By default is default organization. I'm not surprised. Yeah, if the owner is not defined, basically if you want to have a constant, like you want to assign it to someone only, not by definition, but always to some person, then I think you can have this thing. Okay, that's not a problem. Let's see. Parameters for the preventive maintenance engine. Mode. Sub mode. It is a technical thing, like how this thing is entered for servers. I just keep it for some time. The assert SQL and all those things. I don't think we can do anything about it. Setting up the preventing maintenance engine. This is also very okay. This whole thing can be okay. To add preventive maintenance plan, let's go there. List view, add a new record. Let's go there. Let's do some transaction. Here, this is a plan. This one. Okay. Active. Okay. So not many parameters. Always when you are doing all this, make sure you check the columns displayed as well. What all different things are available there. Enable look back. पता नहीं इनके meaning क्या है. I mean, you may have never come to know actually. So just notice everything though. Minimum enable SRs. I'm not sure.
That is
We call it like it says to add triggers for a selected PM plan. Go to PM list screen triggers view. Let's go there. We are in the triggers view. Okay. Funny thing, right? Just values. But let me just go to the test one. Test prevent is the one in the morning. You might have never used this thing, but this is another way to navigate between records in the form applet. Okay. Interval. 2. I'm not sure how it will impact. Usage. Yeah. Measurement capacity. What is the importance of an interval? Start is 0. Okay. How it becomes 1? Month, day. Yeah. Let's study some existing plan. Okay. Look at this 60 interval. What is the 60? Is it minutes? What is it? Valid start 0366. Cycle counter 10,000, 25,000, 0 से लेके 50,000 तक. पता नहीं क्या है. Capacity. Is there anything else in the capacity? No, it's just.
It's days. Time interval is days.
Oh yeah, is this one?
Yeah, that's days.
So 10,000 days.
The time interval sets interval in days.
Okay, this one. This is 60. Oh, it's written here.
Yes.
Okay, let's then go to the bookshelf. To associate assets with the PM plan. You can associate an asset with the PM plan. I thought PM plan is the umbrella thing. When you are at the asset, you click on this PM plan and then me.
No, for an asset you run the PM plan, right? Remember the flowchart?
Request will be for the asset plan.
Yeah.
So you run it for the asset, right?
Asset or agreement.
But you will run it for only one asset.
You will add the assets and just to
Somehow I think PM plan should be associated to the product. Just think about it. Every time a person buys a car, this will come under this PM plan. All the assets created with that product should all get automatically associated to that PM plan.
It's customized for it.
Yeah, but so that, do you think because of that they might have not provided that? Let's see. Okay, so it's saying that in assets,
In Bookshop,
in
there
20
was-
maintenance,
in Bookshop
Okay.
there was something called as
so you can create a new. Let's see what is the pick captured about. Yeah, I actually was able to see something. Okay. Yeah, Chandi, you were saying something.
I forgot. I'm saying certain game plans are associated with their asset.
Let's create one service request template at the least. That should be easy. Do you see any service request template here? Do you see anything? It says go to administration service screen. Okay. Okay. So you can pick only activity templates. You have to pick one of the activity templates. Okay. So where are these activity templates defined? Administration service screen. Okay. This we already did. This one. Oh, it's activity template is in administration data. It's right here. Okay, it is saying what are these means, right? Again, let's go to the 20 minutes. Like right now I'm in the mode of just going to everything and just feeling it once. So at some point of time maybe you can do that too. Just make sure you feel everything of what it is about. So it is saying that plans view. Which one is a plans view? Do you see any plans view? This is the plans view. Oh, so this is the plan itself. Okay. So okay. ये चलो सेट हो जाएगा. Yeah, see, something is all there. So you can put it in the product view here. See, it is associated with the product. Making sense? I mean, so all the assets of this product will be covered automatically. Just a small thing. You see, like one asset can be having one plan. So I go to plan screen, and I try to associate something, some plan, PM plan with it. I don't see any plan here. Can you guess why?
We need to make it.
Plans are already there, right? Remember we saw the plans. See, these are here.
It said they are not synchronized.
No, that is not the reason. I was able to figure out a little bit. See, that asset is related to a product, PCS Vanta desktop. Okay, that this same product should be associated with that PM plan. So if you come here, and this is our test event, right? We come to the product. See, I did that in the morning. I remember I told you it's here now. So let's create a new record. I can just make it with the next one. Test PM plan. This is what we created today morning, right? So I go. Oh, this product is not there. This product is not there. Okay. Let's take something else. Okay.
Don't you have to set a change in first?
Engine. No, this one is just for. That's the thing. This is just for setting up the asset, not for the engine. Like asset needs to be able to work on a particular. To be able to invoke this plan as well, right? So I come here. I don't see any. Oh, I see the engine itself, because these engines, these plans would definitely be associated with that product. That's why these are available for as an business. So proactive server upgrade service. Okay, I do that. So I can see that. Okay, you want to check those engines? Proactive service upgrade, right? See, proactive upgrade server service. This one, it must be having a product. That product. Right, let's make a query. I have that product here. So that product is one of the products under which is covered by this plan. Right? Can you relate this plan to our service plans and all that? Little bit, right? Those service plans are also available on certain products and all that, right? We can relate a little bit, right? Isn't this what we are picking when we go to Dell website and buy a laptop? We pick a plan also, right? Service plan.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something that could be related to that. So this is we were able to relate it. Now let's say I come to this asset, and which one has it? Performa 6000 server, right? I come here and go here. Well, just a minute. I need to go to that view first. So I come here, go to that view, and then run PM. Okay. So run PM all will basically run all the project PMs that are available this time. Had it been able to run, then it would have created service requests and activities, I think. You want to look and check that preventive maintenance thing? Here. Oh, it does not have any triggers. Usage meter it has. What is usage meter? Actions, does it create it? Yeah. Oh, there is a service requires template. Let's go there and check what it does. It does all these activities. So it would have created this on-site repair activity. Making sense? It would have created this on-site repair activity. It would have. It didn't, because PM engine does not run.
This has only that.
Actually, why can't they allow it to be run? Remember that routes allow the creation of activities? We were able to do it in the sample, right? Who knows it has been created? You want to check? किधर है? Nothing got created, right? Do you see anything? July 30, 2004. I'm looking for that activity, right? That should be created. Remember, some activity should get created, right? On-site repair activity. So I think cause and effect we know, but how usage works, how time interval works, how PM plan will take action, what kind of activity will it create is, I'm not sure about that. But I think we are, if PM engine is running, then it would have created an activity here. Simple, right? That's a simple thing. 20 minutes, में 20 pages में ही लिखा है शायद. I think that's what is written here.
Automatically generates activity.
Right? And service request.
Yeah.
Right? Wherever, whatever applicable.
Whatever.